How do you structure your training around a night shift or shift work? Well, we're first going to base it around the fact that there's generally two types of shift patterns that you're going to have. Type 1 is straight shifts. So you can have generally about 5 days on, followed by a couple of days off. So normally Monday, Friday nights, Saturday, Sunday off, Monday, Friday days, Saturday, Sunday off, and then Monday, Friday nights again. So just rinse and repeating. You're going on and then you're going off. So what I'd advise there, sort of a standard training pattern, but on your rest days, when you're flipping your circadian rhythm, so basically the day you're going from being awake in the day to being awake at night, or the day that you've been awake at night to being awake in the day, you're going to take a rest day. Sounds a bit overcomplicated, but if you work Monday, Friday nights, weekends off, your rest days are going to be Mondays and Saturdays. Essentially, these days are just going to be the days where you're going to be a bit groggy, you're not going to be well recovered, you're going to probably have a bit of sleep issues, you're going to be knackered. So they're not good days to train. The best days just to take it easy, take a day off, chill the fuck out. But essentially, you'll be able to train the rest of the week, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's 5 days you've got there free for training. You've got a fresh run of 4 days in a row, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. However, I wouldn't generally run 4 days in a row. It can be really taxing. So you're probably looking at, training about 4 times a week, which is more than enough to get your volume in, to grow, or maintain your muscle. If you're on a diet or a gaining phase, whatever, you can run a split like upper body push, upper body pull, legs, and then you can hit legs again at some point, or you can go upper lower. Just basically just fit your body part, work in, pretty easy, whatever you're doing. Now, if you're on a combo shift, which is type 2, which is an absolute fuckery for your circadian rhythm, what that is generally 2 day shifts, 2 late shifts, 2 night shifts, followed by a series of days off. We'll call it, for this example, 4 days off. Again, we know that the worst days for recovery is the night shifts and the days that you're flipping your circadian rhythm on its head. So the night shifts, you take the days off, just chill out. It's all going to be fine. You're going to keep your gains. You need rest. Okay, just chill, my child. And then you can consider a rest day on the day that you're switching from your night to your day off. So your first day off, maybe if you're going to have a shift pattern like 2 days, 2 late shifts, 2 night shifts, 4 days off. That first day off, rest day, just for the fact that you're flipping your circadian rhythm again, and you're probably going to have a pretty poor recovery on that day as well. But if you do work out on that day, make sure it's a not taxing workout, something like an upper body day. Leave the fucking leg day on the table. Just don't bother with leg day when your recovery is poor. I'm going to give you an example 10-day workout split based around your night shift. If it's doing the 2 day shifts, 2 late shifts, 2 night shifts, 4 days off, but you can apply the principles to whatever. So the first night shifts, we're going to start on the night shifts. We're going to rest on these 2 days, so 2 rest days in a row. The first day off, you're going to rest as well, and then the next day is a day off. You're going to go lower body. You've had 3 days of rest. You should be fine to go, raring to go. Big recovery capacity here. You've had a good night's sleep. Let's go lower body. We're going to do legs, glutes, hams, that sort of thing. Next day, it's another day off. Blimey, we're winning. Upper body, something like a chest and back. And then the next day is another day off. So we're going to do delts and arms. So your shoulders, biceps, triceps, and then you can tag on some core work on the end. It's not going to tax you too much. So we've had a run of 3 days training, then probably going to need a rest. So on your first day shift, it's your first day back at work, just going to rest, chill out. You're going to have another day shift then after that. So you're well rested, your circadian rhythms in alignment, lower body, leg day, because you're most well recovered. Again, then you're going to have a late shift. You're going to do an upper body again. So you're hitting it for the second time that week. Ideally, you do that before work so it doesn't impact your sleep. And again, you're going to have another late shift after that. Delts and arms again. Again, you've hit it twice this week. Fantastic. And again, you're going to hit that ideally before work so it doesn't impact with your sleep. If you do on the late shifts work out after work, because that's the time you have, do use something like an ashwagandha or a phosphodietyl. You can find them cheap on Amazon just after you work out. That will help lower your cortisol, lower your stress hormone, get you in a rest and digest state, ready to go bed pretty quick. And then an hour before bed, you can take something like a milligram of melatonin to help you get to sleep. Remember to have sort of blackout blinds, cold room if you can. Use a white noise app or some earplugs just to help you get to sleep as best as you can. So what we've done across that 10-day split essentially is we've hit each body part twice, which is what the literature shows is generally optimal across a 10-day time period. The literature generally shows across a 7-day week, you generally need 8 to 12 hard training sets per body part per week to grow optimally. Now, obviously 10 days doesn't fall into 7 days. How do you know how much volume to do? Well, a 10-day pattern, 10 days is approximately 1.5 times longer than a week. A week is 7 days, 2 weeks is 14 days, divided by 2, it's about 10 days, isn't it? Let's be honest. So essentially what you do is 1.5 times 7, right, is 10 days. So 1.5 times the minimum effective volume is 1.5 times 8, which is 12 sets per body part per week, is the lower end of how many working sets you need to do per body part. And then the upper end is 12 times 1.5 is 18 sets per body part per week to stimulate some muscle growth. So you've got a range there to be able to grow muscle within a 10-day split. You need to be doing about 12 to 18 sets across that 10-day split, which in the split that we've created, it's you're training twice a week. So it's 6 to 9 sets per body part in each session, which is very much achievable, especially if you're doing supersets, saving time in the gym, that sort of thing. Other things that you might want to consider in your training program is if you're working on these night shifts, your sleep's probably going to be compromised. So what we find in the literature that lower rep ranges between 6 and 10 reps are less affected by lack of sleep. So if you can train in a lower rep range for your bigger movements, you're probably going to have a better chance of at least maintaining your strength and if not increasing it. And then we're going to prioritise your stimulus to fatigue ratio on your exercises. So basically how much stimulus you get from each exercise relative to your fatigue. Whatever that means is, you want to work your quads, for example, but you're doing barbell squats. You bring a hell of a lot of other things into the equation that probably just don't need to be in there. They're fatiguing a lot of other muscles and putting a lot of stress on your central nervous system, which just don't need to be in there. For a targeted quad exercise, you could do something like a leg extension, it takes the majority of the muscles out. It takes the glutes out. It takes the lower back load in, that sort of thing. And then you could just tag it along with a split squat, lengthen the rectus femoris. A split squat with a leg extension is as much quad stimulation as you're generally going to need. You just add sets on it. It's pretty complete there in that sense. So you don't need to be barbell squatting. You don't need to be doing anything that's too taxing. And also, the final note, maybe it's not good to train to failure. I know a lot of gym goers, all they do is go balls to the wall. How much can I lift? And just train to absolute until I can't lift anymore. Well, the literature does say yes, training is failure if you have one set, nothing else. Training to failure does elicit the most hypertrophy, but it's a very minimal difference between that and 1 rep in reserve, 1 rep left in the tank. And then, so we might leave at least 1 rep left in the tank, and if not 2 reps left in the tank. You can stimulate hypertrophy between 4 reps in reserve and obviously training to failure. So it's a big window. You can literally train between 4 reps in reserve to 2 reps in reserve and have no issues with fatigue really generally. And then you can just use volume to drive up the hypertrophy response. So say in week 1 you do 6 sets on quads at 4 reps in reserve. Next week you do 7 sets on quads with 3 reps in reserve. Next week you do 8 sets on quads with 2 reps in reserve. And then you just keep going up like that. There's no need to be always training for failure. It's just going to bring more fatigue. So fatigue management is going to be really important when you're working on shifts if you want to really maximise your hypertrophy and your body composition changes. I wouldn't recommend any HIIT training if you're looking to burn fat. I'd never really recommend HIIT training in a calorie deficit. It just takes too much out of you, too much fatigue cost for what it is. If you want to do cardio, keep it between 120 and 140 beats per minute. If you don't have a heart rate tracker, just something enough so you can hold a conversation, but you can struggle to hold it. Do that for about 20 minutes at a time. That should be enough for your cardio. Or if you've got the time, just do steps. Just keep the fatigue to a minimum, and that's how you best kind of manage your training around your night shifts. Yeah, I hope that helps. If it does, I don't know. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, if it doesn't, it doesn't.